Welcome back to the Football Tragics. I've got a smile on my face this week. Morty, you should have a smile on your face this week. And Baxter, how you going, mate? Welcome. Thanks for being on the pod. How are we feeling?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me on, boys. And let's just rip into it, eh? Let's just rip off the band-aid.
So obviously Baxter is an Arsenal fan. So before we get started on our usual weekly routine of running through the games, myself and Baxter did have a bet on this game. I'm still in a United jersey for this podcast, which means I won the bet. He is in an Arsenal shirt, but Baxter, I believe you have something to say.
Uh, Man United is a superior team than Arsenal.
All right, that's good. Okay, with that, we will jump into the game. So we're going to start with before this week. It was probably seen as a bit of a snore fest, but we're going to go Norwich and Newcastle played at a 1-0 draw. Morty, what did you think about this game? Who got the better point here? Is it Norwich? Is it Newcastle? Take it away.
I just can't wait to lose both of them out of the Prem. Like the way this game went it was disgusting. 9-minute red card. Newcastle only scored with a penalty. Pookie scoring. Like this is just championship level stuff. Newcastle, the owners must be looking at it going, "What the hell have we done? What have we bought? We've bought a massive pile of shit." And yeah, that I don't know what they're going to do because the signings that we could see happening, the Premier League quality, isn't going to get them out of this hole. They are going to need to start pulling points from the big dogs to even get up at this point. We're in Christmas. We're Christmas time. We're even fast paced now. There's more games coming. They can't even keep up with the regular one game a week, and everyone else is playing twice. So
well, it's a good point you bring up. Those big boys, they're going to need to take points off. I think it's between the 13th of December to the 28th of December. They will take on Leicester, Liverpool, Manchester City, and Manchester United. And they're already in that point where no team has had this few points and survived the Premier League season and not got relegated. So they are well and truly in the mud. I don't think any of us are disappointed with that. But Baxter, what were your thoughts on this game?
I sort of got the notification, got into about 30 minutes, seen that the red card, and I was like, well, it's all Norwich here. They should win. But Newcastle looked like they had the better chance to grab 3 points. But with the Pookie goal, equalising it, I think it's the best thing for Norwich there. Would be scratching my head if I was Dean Smith there.
Yeah, so obviously, I agree with that. Norwich are moving in the right direction. That is their 7th point in 3 games, so they are moving in that right direction. They're climbing closer to that survival, but I think, like Morty said, once we're done with both of these teams at the end of the year, it'll be a lot better off. So,
just another fact on that:
yeah.
Newcastle, out of the 92 top 4 English Premier League English tiers, they're the only team that without a win.
It's even better. I mean, if there's any Newcastle fans listening, I know there's a few of them. Cop that. You're in the mud and you're getting shit put on you by an Arsenal fan who hasn't had the best day. So, yeah, take that. But we will move into another team that moved away from that relegation battle. Leeds with the 1-0 win against Palace. We'll come back to you, Baxter. What were your thoughts on this game?
I was cheering for a 0-0 draw because that's what I tipped. Look, I didn't really watch this game. I was more interested in the Norwich game. And, stats say that Leeds deserve the win, so hats off to them. Back to the drawing board for Crystal Palace here.
Yeah, fair play. Morty, what about you?
Time and time again, I'll sit here and say Rafinha deserves a better team because I'm not actually sure who earned the penalty, but, he put it away. He got him the points, but positive signs for Leeds is that Palace have actually been in some good form. They are one of the better squads this year, so credit to them. They held on for a win, no matter how dire it was. But I'm not going to say it's looking up for them because I yet to see them put 2 games together. So we're reserved for the end of the week.
I mean, it can't look too far down because the team below them are obviously playing some terrible football. But I think this is a big win for Leeds in the scheme of staying up. Like you said, they now move level with a few teams. They're level with Everton. They're just behind Villa with their 2 wins. So, I mean, it could be a good kickstart for them. But like you said, for 90 minutes, it was quite poor. They get that penalty. Rafinha converts it. I was cheering when it went in. I know that sounds weird as a United fan, but he's in my fantasy team, so I was cheering when it hit the back of the net. But good win for Leeds. Shocking result for Palace. And we move on to another team who has been underwhelming this year. It was Southampton 2, Leicester 2. Campo's not here to give him credit. He doesn't have to. Morty, who are you giving credit to from this game?
No one? Is that an option here?
Oh, I mean, take it away. Tell us why. Tell us what's going on in your head.
Leicester, again, had a decent game last week and come out and put up this. Like, Southampton struggled to create chances, let alone score, and to let them score twice. That's terrible. I don't even think they've scored twice all season, have they? Surely, maybe. If not, they've only equaled that because, that's a thing. And realistically, Leicester, a bit of Maddison magic, the only thing got them out of that hole. Like, I don't know what. There's something in the water at Leicester. Something's not going right. I don't know if it's, Rodgers players not happy with, him being linked and maybe moving on or whatever it is, but they need to get their head screwed on because at the end of this, they're going to walk away with no Europe, no nothing, not even Conference League, and they're going to be back to square one. So they're just built so hard, built through all of that to this point, and they keep falling, and they're falling and stumbling. So sack Rodgers.
I mean, it's definitely an interesting point you bring up Rodgers. Obviously, he was being linked to United. We know how Morty feels about Rodgers. If it was up to him, he would have been sacked about 2.5 years ago. So I'll pose this question to you, Baxter, because I'm not posing it to him because he wants him fired. Is this season the season that determines if United go after Rodgers, or do you think he's already shipped enough points that they're going to turn their attention elsewhere?
I still believe that I'll go back to your first thing. This is the year for Rodgers to sort of put up and go, I am the next boss for United. Obviously, they're looking. United are looking elsewhere with the Ajax coach, who I really recommend. But if Leicester do not finish in the top 6, I don't think you go after him as a United front. Just don't even touch him.
And what are your thoughts on the game overall? 2-2, obviously good point for Southampton. Drop points for Leicester. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, obviously, the Maddison equaliser to get a point out of there. Good result for them. As I said, they're in the trenches, and the only way forward for them is up. They've showed it before that they can go up and prove it to the big boys, but right now they're just playing Sunday League football.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm one that always gives Southampton some credit. I've always had love for Leicester since they did win the league. I think that was quite big for the Premier League, but it's quite sad to see how far they've dropped, especially this year so far. So another team that I think, Morty, me, you, Baxter can agree, we don't care if they're not in the Premier League next year. It's Wolves 0 versus give nothing to the Premier League, Burnley 0. Take it away, Morty. How do you feel?
That they've given one thing, that they signed a left back that can score, and that's saying something for a Burnley squad. But I don't see him lasting more than a season if they continue the way they're going, because take him out, I think they've scored 3 goals this season. I think he's got more than half of their goals of the whole year, and I'm just happy to see them picking up. No points. It's great to see. No wins. Everyone else moving away from that relegation battle. They're there and they're stuck in it. Great.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously quite interesting. Every year we do have that 1964 Boxing Day results come up, and there is that 6-1 win for Burnley against United. And I think at the moment we're in that part of the season where we might be lucky to see him score 6 goals in a year some years. So obviously crazy results in the past. Baxter, what were your thoughts on this 0-0 draw? Obviously drop points for Wolves, but is it a good point for Burnley?
It is. It is a good point for Burnley because they still got that game against Spurs, which I believe is scheduled for the 16th of May. Not to be determined fully yet. Don't quote me on that. But you look at the table. You got Burnley sitting in 18th with 3 points behind Watford and only a better for and against than Watford. So really, 3 points for Burnley, and they're out of the relegation zone there. So yeah, lost points for Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to agree there. Obviously, they are only 3 points off, but I think come May, I don't think that game is going to mean as much to Burnley because I think if they keep playing the way they're playing, they're going to be too far gone. We've seen Watford under Ranieri. They're playing well. And we're going to transition into a Watford game where they did play well. They probably could have deserved the point. Chelsea did get away with it, but it was Watford 1, Chelsea 2. I'm going to take this one away to start with. If Chelsea goes on to win the league, these are the games where they're having that pressure put to them and they somehow find a way to get a result. It wasn't their best game. Watford took it to them. Ranieri's playing great football. He's getting them playing great football. And for Chelsea, this is a game they're going to look back at the end of the year and it could be the one where they say that 3 points won us the league. What are your thoughts on that, Morty?
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting because Chelsea for this season are actually playing some attacking football, and we've seen in the past, especially of the likes of Liverpool and City, when you're winning each week in, week out, that they've shown time and time again that they always have a stumbling block, and they always have those games that have cost them. I mean, Liverpool lost by 2 million of ball 3 seasons ago, and City as well. They've lost games to some strange teams just purely because they're used to winning week in, week out in their set ways. So
you're calling Spurs a strange team there, right? That's who you're referring to, dropping points to Spurs at the start of the season.
I was talking about Palace, but yeah, we'll give them that. But it's I mean, I don't want to see it happening, but Chelsea taking away the win, that game that's played again, they might lose that game. Watford played really well this game, and Chelsea, maybe they're looking for they need a solid win to get back on track because games, as I said, they're coming thick and fast, and they have that stumbling block. They come into the next game against the City. I don't think they're going to be up for that one. They might cop a battering and then go on to lose to another team that they shouldn't be. So this will be the determining factor for them whether they push on through or maybe not stumble a little bit.
All right, brilliant. Before I get your thoughts on that match, Baxter, you did bring up a point. We were chatting on Messenger after this game. Are we starting to see a top 3 pull away and there is no longer a big 6, a big 4? I know you had your thoughts on it. What are your thoughts on the Premier League? What is it? A big 3, big 4? What is it?
I believe it's now a big 3. Obviously, Liverpool, City, and Chelsea. All top teams. It just shows you have to splash the cash in the right areas and bring in the players to do well for your team. And I don't believe United, Arsenal, and Spurs to be in that conversation of a big 6. I believe it, as I said, big 3, and that's it.
What are your thoughts on that?
My reasoning for the big 3, and I did say it to you, Tony, in our messenger. If you're not winning a decent trophy or four trophies every 10 years, you don't deserve to be in that topic. Whether that's the Premier League, the Champions League, FA Cup, or the Europa League, if you want to put that in there, if you're not winning one of them or 4 of them every 10 years, you don't deserve to be there.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Morty? Is it a top 3 now? Have they started to pull away?
How the hell have Tottenham ever been in the top 6 then?
Well,
the last 50.
Well, as Tony said, their history has shown that they should be there, but in recent results, they're a dormant big club.
Come on, Morty. Tell me a team that's won more Audi Cups than Spurs. Come on. You can't mention it. There is none. There's no one that's won more than Spurs.
I guarantee you there's probably Audi has sponsored some other thing in Germany somewhere that someone has got more Audi Cups than Dortmund. I'll go and find one for next week. But yeah, no, it's hard to disagree. You've had City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and they've made up the finalists of the Champions League the past 4-5 years now. Obviously, Chelsea winning it, Liverpool winning it. And then, those only 3 of the past 5-6 years, I think.
Yeah.
So up till Leicester 2016 that have won the league. So, yeah. It's hard to disagree with that.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree. I think the likes of the United, the Arsenal will always be classified as that big club purely because of their history. But like Baxter said, at this stage, those teams are a bit dormant. They're probably got the squads where they can start to go on a run, but that top three is daylight clear of anyone else in the Premier League at the moment. And I don't think that's going to change for the next couple of years, if I'm being honest. Moving into obviously the next game, a team that is trying to crack into that top four. They have had a bit of a bad run of results. West Ham won, Brighton won. What are your thoughts on this game, Morty?
You all laughed at me when I said West Ham would struggle after the Liverpool win, but here we are again. But I think West Ham, they're holding on, they're going, but they've kind of lost that drive. It's almost like that Liverpool win was their achievement, and they've gone, oh, we've done that, and they've got nothing else to fight for, really. I think they've gone back and they've looked at the table still and gone, yeah, we still ain't winning nothing. So they're grabbing some points. They're doing all the right things still. They take nothing away from what they're doing. They're still far and above anyone's expectations of what they were going to do this season. But they'll look back on them through the year when they're sitting fifth, sixth, trying to just battle for a Europe spot. They've gone, oh, if we only just won that one, or just clutched up here a bit more. But credit to them, they're not losing, so we'll go along with that.
Yeah, obviously they do have Chelsea coming up tomorrow night, and that's going to be another big test for them. We could see that Chelsea stumble, which we spoke about before, or we could see West Ham come out, make a statement, Chelsea come out, make a statement. I think that's a big game for both. But Baxter, what was your thoughts on this 1-1 draw?
I think it's drop points, as Morty said, for West Ham. I think they hit the ground running, obviously getting those good results early, obviously the win over Liverpool. And it's just this period of games just have killed them, just playing one after another, and they've got Europe as well to fit one game in there somewhere. I just don't think they have the depth to just keep that momentum going. Like, yes, it's 1 point over Brighton, but what do you do? Do you just hold on for dear life and try and go through, get out the other side into January and pick up some more depth players to push on, or do you have a full crack at it and go after Chelsea tomorrow night? I will go with the latter of the two.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Obviously, they do need to probably bring in a few reinforcements. That Lingard name is being tossed up again for a January move. Again, I said this a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was only myself or Morty that kind of agreed. I'd be going all out for Europa. Like, realistically, you're going to have the Arsenals, the Tottenhams, the Uniteds charge back down, potentially chase down West Ham. Go for the Europa League. Give your fans something to enjoy. Go for that title. If you win, you're in the Champions League. Who cares where you finish in the league? But I don't see him finishing in the top six. So for me, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket and I'm going for it.
But do you risk it all and come up short in winning the Europa League and failing to qualify for Europe and then not having anything for next season? Or do you try and spread your eggs over a couple of baskets to make sure that you do get another bite of the cherry next season?
Well, I mean, I'll let Morty attack it, and I'll just add on to that. Do we think that they have the depth if they do go into Europe next year? So that's the biggest issue here. So, Morty, what are your thoughts on that?
It's hard to say, because if they just went through it at Europa, they have a genuine chance of winning that, because they've come through the group stage, they're fine, and they've already shown in the league that they will beat the other big teams that are in the league. So they could go on to win it, and they could scrap their way through to a Champions League. And maybe they might not have the depth for it. Maybe they might struggle. But as we've seen with Leicester, like just playing the games week in, week, giving them some experience, it's still another drawing card. They can build on that and bring some more players in, bolster up. They've got to get there first. So why not try your best? They're within range to maybe drop a few points. They'll still be in the top six, and then they're within a chance of winning the Europa League. So
I'll tell you what, I think they'll make that decision when they see if Barcelona's coming down into that Europa League or if Barca's staying in the Champions League, and then they'll decide what they're going to do and where they're going to put their baskets. But we'll keep that smile on your face, Morty. We'll move into the Merseyside derby, or for some fans, the 20-minute Merseyside derby. Take it away. Everton 1, Liverpool 4. Go on. Give it to them. Give it to them.
I didn't think we could make fans walk out any earlier than United, but I guess I was wrong. 18 minutes. So, in all seriousness, by half time it was 2-1. It was looking dicey. I'll be honest, but come second half, they found another gear and just got on with the job. And there seems to be nothing in Liverpool's way at the moment. They're just doing what Liverpool do. They're finding the other gear and they're just going for it. And I'm glad to see. And I'll bring up a stat. So between these two teams, who do you think spent the most in the last 5 years?
Everton.
I could have a crack here, but you have sent the photo. I'll let you give the exact numbers, but that was a funny thing that you've sent in today.
I think we spent about 40 million less.
Oof.
And yeah,
I
I
thought it
don't
would
think
be
we'll say
closer.
the other quote. I won't say the other quote along with that, but yeah, it just goes to show, realistically, we haven't signed that many outstanding players. We've done just. I think that's just a credit to Klopp, to be honest. Like he's done wonders for the club, and he'll have a statue out there. They'd build it tomorrow if they really wanted to, and it's just good time to be a Liverpool supporter. I'll leave it at that.
Baxter, Everton 1, Liverpool 4. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the fans walking out? I know myself, being a United fan, you being an Arsenal fan, we've been on the back end of some big results against us. I know we've stayed there. We've watched them. I watched all 5 of Liverpool's goals go in, and I know I wasn't at the stadium, but yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, first, the fans walking out, and then second, the result.
Well, it's sort of a two-edged sword here. It's like, well, as a diehard fan, do you walk out and say, I don't take that, like that's not acceptable? Or are you one of those diehard fans who sit and watch, and rain, hail, or shine, you're sitting there supporting your team? You could pick either. Walking out and not accepting those terms of what Everton produced. I'm sure United didn't accept their fans accept their performance over Liverpool when they got bashed 5-0. But this is a prime example. You just brought up a stat of you spent $40 million less than Everton, but yet you brought in more. The quality of player that you have brought into the club is better than what Everton has produced. And now it shows Premier League title, Champions League title, and a manager who, as you said, a statue is forever. You could build it today, really, and no one would say a word about anything wrong about it.
I mean, I'm not going to add too much. You guys covered that. I'm just going to ask Morty, is there an apology for Henderson? You don't want him in the squad. You've called him out a few weeks in a row for being that person that weighs you down. And he's gone and put you ahead and probably made half the Everton fans leave because they've obviously listened to the pod and you've said how shit he is. He's gone on and scored a goal. Is there an apology for Hendo?
No, because I'm not going to say... I don't say that he's a terrible player. He's not better than Fabinho. He's not better than Thiago. And playing the three of them together, it lacks a bit of creativity and it relies too heavy on the front three. I'd rather see a Thiago, a Fabinho, and an Ox. Just someone with a bit more bite in him, a bit more pace, bit more.
I agree with you. Like Henderson's got to have all the creativity in the goals, while the others are just getting carried on his back. Like it's not fair. Like he's got to do all the hard work.
No, but that's not what I mean. Like this is against Everton. I'm talking. We're going to come up against City, and he gets shut out of that game. Like he doesn't have that. Yes, he's got the drive. He's got the engine to do it, but he doesn't.
He can't pick up the ball and push down the field and create those chances for the front three.
Yeah. Yes, he'll score. Yes, he'll do something every now and again. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just a bit of overreaction. But I'd much rather see a Fabinho, Thiago, Oxlade, or Fabinho, Thiago drop Firmino in there. Just someone with a bit more thing, just to take a bit off that front three. Because as we've seen against the City and against at Chelsea, sometimes you need something else in the middle rather than just grabbing possession of the ball. and shooting up the field. One more thing I'll add though is I'd rather Canate in there over Matip. Like I think he's shown enough the past two games. He's been in twice of the past 3. I just think we should be giving him more time because he's 5 years younger than Matip. Matip, he's a quality centre back, but Canate, he looks like he could be a solid future there, and he's obviously doing something right to keep Gomez completely out of the side. So,
yeah, we'll use it as a transition into a team that has about 750 centre backs on their payroll. Aston Villa took on Man City. Grealish returned back to where it all began, and City took the win 2-1. Baxter, obviously, first, thoughts on the booing that Grealish copped, and then second, your thoughts on the result.
Again, this is a double-edged sword. As Grealish, the player, you sort of look at it and go, well, the money coming into the club could better my boyhood club. I'll move on. Or is he moved for the wrong reasons? Or should you stay loyal and stay? I don't know. As personally as a player, I'll move on, help my boyhood club progress. I didn't like it when he was caught cheering for the goal. Like, I get it. It's your new team that you want to celebrate for, but save it for the changing rooms when there's no cameras around. That's what
I disagree. I think you score to go and celebrate. I'm over this. You don't celebrate when you score against. Come on, mate. We pay millions.
But it's your boyhood club. It's the club that you started out with. It's the club that gave your Premier League debut. It's the club that gave you everything. And then you're not even scoring and you're cheering for it. Like, you didn't have anything to do it. You're on the bench.
Mate, get our boy all back in there. Let him run 100 metres and celebrate in front of the fans that he played against. Get it back in. We're there for the viewing. We're there for the fans. Okay. Give it to him.
I'll flip it back on you. Ronaldo, when he went to Real Madrid and he scored in the Champions League and he didn't celebrate, did you respect him a lot more, or did you say, nah, I didn't care?
Oh, no, I respect the players for not doing it, but I'm saying if I was in that situation, I'm taking my shirt off, I'm swinging it around, I'm celebrating the goal. Like, in the end, you're a professional. We live in Australia. Soccer's not the popular sport. The NRL, players move every year. They celebrate those tries. Let them celebrate. If you don't want him to celebrate, don't let him score. That's my thoughts on the process. Or don't let City score. Morty?
I'm with the agreement with you here. Yeah, we talk about all these clubs, saying, oh, yeah, City's got all this oil money, blah, 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 blah. Some of the owners of these clubs are have got as much money to spend as the other ones. If they don't want their players celebrating against them, don't sell them. Build them a club. If he's already there, that's what it is. We've lost this competition between the owners. The owners just don't even know what happens anymore. Like, they genuinely don't care. Like, City have shown that, yes, they've got all the money, but their owners are there. They're investing in the area. They've built a club that people want to be a part of. And I'm not saying Villa hasn't done the same, but if you want these players, you got to keep them. You want to keep these boyhood players and celebrate with them. That's just my opinion. Let them. They're paying their paycheck. Like, I think it verges onto a different ball game. Like, I'm getting paid. I'm celebrating. Like, what's worse? I'm not celebrating for the bloke that couldn't afford me. So, what, the bloke that can afford me doesn't deserve me to celebrate? So,
all right, we've obviously spoken about that. Can I get your thoughts on the result, Morty? 2-1 the Manchester City. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, you look at this City lineup and just go, well, what would have happened if they put their A game out? Because, there's not much on that pitch other than maybe Diaz, Cancelo, and Edison. That's their second string other than their attack. So, yeah, and I mean, Grealish not starting against the club that you sold, like, is it looking like a backward step? Like, is he going to start falling into that Man City rotation where he's not going to be happy? Like, he wants to play.
Well, he's playing Champions League.
Yeah.
He's playing Champions League. Let's be honest. Is he going to win a title if he stayed at Villa? That's probably the biggest talking point here. Players play to win trophies. He's not going to win anything at Villa, so he might get into that rotation.
They might not win a single trophy this year.
It might not be this year, but he's got more chance of winning a trophy at Manchester City than what he does at Aston Villa. And I think if in, let's say, 4 years' time, he's still there, they lift the Champions League trophy, it's going to be worth it for him. Baxter, your thoughts on the game before we move on?
It's another prime example. You don't have to win pretty to get the 3 points and stay in the title race. Sometimes you've got to get down and dirty and grab those 3 points right out of the opposition's hands. Yeah, unlucky for Stevie G. Obviously, he'll come back down. He'll bounce back, and yeah.
Well, we talk about not wanting to win pretty or not winning pretty. Was there anything uglier than Tottenham's first goal today in that 2-0 win? Now, the poor guys think, I've done a good job, I've cleared the ball, bounces off his own player's head and goes in for an own goal. That just spells Tottenham. Am I wrong here? Is anyone disagreeing with that?
If you can't score them, you take them.
All right, Baxter. Obviously, you're not a fan of Tottenham. Take it away. 2-0 against Brentford. Another 3 points. Go for it.
Look, that first goal, you just summed it up. Like, if you can't score them, you're going to take them wherever you can. It's good to see Harry Kane not on the score sheet for another game, which is a cheer. But, you know, full credit to them. They dominated Brentford out of the game. And, yeah, that's it. That's it. All I'm saying about Spurs, because anymore and just nah.
You obviously mentioned Kane not scoring, and he's finally broke that trend of me being able to call when he's going to score, when he's not going to score. So he's disappointed me there. But Morty, what are your thoughts on the game?
I just despise Tottenham, and this is just one of those games where you look at them and go, "Why does anyone support this club?"
You got to have rocks in your brains.
Oh, mate, this will be on a special in 10 years. The game we won. The only opposition scoring for us, they are diabolical, and yeah, I don't know. Kane's value just seems to be decreasing and decreasing. Like, I know we say one season, can't do that much damage, but he's going to be what, 28 after this?
Yeah, about that.
I don't know.
Be around there.
Would you, as Kane, go in January for a lesser fee? Would you try and get out of that club?
Oh, he would agree to anything at this point. It's just about whether Tottenham let him.
Hey,
I don't see
Tottenham for the team. I don't see him having a place in the starting 11.
It's an interesting one. Obviously, he has fallen behind Son in probably who's more valuable to that squad. Son obviously did get on the score sheet again today. He has been quiet. Again, this is something you're going to see. Obviously, a new manager's come in. Conte's come in. He still is undefeated in the league. He does want to work with Harry Kane, but in the end, like you said, Baxter, it might be time when next year they do ship him off for 60, 70, 80 mil, whatever it is, half of what they were going to get, but they cut their ties and use up money to bring in a striker that wants to be there. So who knows? But a team that is, I'm going to move on here because I'm going to have fun with this next one. A team who is in desperate need of a striker because Aubameyang just isn't cutting it. Arsenal, obviously, we've spoken about it. United 3, Arsenal 2. I'll let the guest go first, Baxter. Take it away.
Well, let's give credit where credit due. Ronaldo scoring his 800th and 801st goal in club and country. So hats off to him. I was glad that it wasn't the pen to score his 800th goal. Obviously, you could see it in the first half with the back heel bicycle kick. He was trying to go for it. First goal was really weird. We were speaking about it, Tony, live, and I was happy with the goal not counting. I was understanding, but De Gea as a goalkeeper, I'll be screaming bloody murder. If I got hit, it doesn't matter if it was my own teammate or the opposition. You feel a little knock, you scream and act like you've been shot to get the referee's attention, regardless of how many people there, because obviously, and it cost United a goal, the lead there, but we need to. We are a young squad. We will make mistakes, and obviously, the 2 weeks ago, the Liverpool toweling us up brought us back to reality. I will admit that I did get a big head with those 10 or 9 games undefeated. It was great. You got to celebrate where you can. Young players will make mistakes. Tavares, I think you need to have a rest. You did mistakes against Liverpool. You made up for it against Newcastle. This is the game where I would have said, you know what, you played 2 games, sit on the bench, Tierney, you're starting, because I think an older, experienced head would have done better there. Party, yeah, he needs to work on his game. Aubameyang needs to find some goals. Otherwise, you're sitting on the bench, and you can bring Lacazette on, because he showed against Crystal Palace. He's been sitting on the bench for how many odd games. He comes on, he's getting fired up. He scores the equaliser. He shows how much game time to him is crucial to him. Like, it's crucial to him, and he's 1.5 years younger than Aubameyang. So something's going to happen. Something's going to happen, and we're not chucking the baby out with the bathwater yet. We can still turn this around and hit, top four. Obviously, a win today would have produced that, but yeah, it was a great comeback to 2-2, and then obviously Fred initiating the penalty, and bloody hell, give him a drug test, because that bloke that turned up in the second half, that's the Fred that you should have got when you bought him. Like, he produced one of the most brilliant second halves ever. I've got to say, he's got good touches to bring down De Gea and then get the winning pen. Full credit to Man United. They deserved it, but we've got Everton, so obviously we should get a win there.
Can I just say how nice it is not to be the person in their sorrows for a podcast? Obviously, I had to sit opposite Morty when we got done 5-0. Obviously, I did have a bit of fun against Tottenham. I had a bit of fun against Chelsea, but it's just good to have someone else here that just looks like they're the upset one for the week, and I can have a smile on my face. Obviously, I'll go first, and I'll let you wrap it up, Morty, because you're probably going to be the most unbiased here. But I thought me and Baxter both spoke about this goal, and again, we both said the same thing. If it's a goal, it's a goal. If it's not a goal, it's not a goal, and we can accept it both ways. Watching the replay, I think De Gea obviously has gone down feeling contact, and unfortunately, I think he tried to play it. He wasn't really injured. He probably could have got back up. He could have saved it. I know if I'm a goalkeeper, I'm not, but if I was and I didn't hear a whistle in the first 2 seconds, I'm at least facing where the ball's going so I can try and stop that shot. So, fair play. I mean, what I didn't like is Arsenal celebrating that goal. I thought that was a bit cheap why De Gea was lying down, but I think I said to my dad at the stage, I'm like, you know what, this is going to make that win even sweeter if we can get the win to get the revenge on that. As you said, Ronaldo, 800th goal, 801st goal. I read a stat today saying if you start playing today and for 20 years you score 40 goals, you'll be 1 goal behind what Ronaldo has now. So, unbelievable effort. Buzzing about the result. Obviously, big talking point, Carrick has left the club. He did tell the players after the final whistle that he was leaving the club effective immediately. I think that's a good move for him. It shows that he does have that respect for the club. He knows Ralph wants to come in and he doesn't want the club to have to pay him out. So he's agreed to walk away. I'm buzzing. It was a great result. What's that, Tim on the bounce?
I will say I wasn't surprised with the result. Obviously, you went to Stamford Bridge. You got the point. You won in midweek in the Champions League. So, and Ole wasn't at the wheel. I would have been more devastated if Ole was still at the wheel and we had lost in the manner we did. I wouldn't even come on. I would have said "fuck you" and "see you later." But it wasn't surprising that you did win. I did expect a goal fest, but yeah, I didn't know about Carrick, but I believe he should have stepped down when Ole stepped down.
Yeah, I mean, and he was questioned about that. They said, did it play a part? And Carrick said that the club knew they were going to bring in an interim and no one else actually wanted to step up and take that job until the interim came in. So he always knew it was only going to be 3 or 4 games. But yeah, I agree. He should have stepped down, and there's probably another 1 or 2 that should step down in the next couple of weeks. But if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. But Morty, give us some credit. Come on. You've got to give us some credit. You've got to give Carrick some credit. If you're not going to give us some credit, give it to Carrick.
Don't give either of them. Don't give either of them.
Surprise! United have a penalty in a game and they win. For God's sake, they haven't had one in about 20 games. It's all they've been missing.
We haven't had one since your manager had a little sook and got us taken off half our penalties in the year.
it's not like we score ours anyway, so we don't have others to get anyways. We just score ourselves. So surprise, surprise, that's what it is. De Gea lying on the floor like he'd been shot. I've seen other sixes just lie there with less contact. Get up, at least play the ball. We've got VAR for a reason. If you're whenever I cry that much, stop the goal, go to the ref and go have a look at it, because that's what VAR can have a look at. And then he would have seen that he's been taken out by his own teammate. He looked like an absolute mug. So good on Arsenal for celebrating, because I'm being honest here. You don't get to just lie in your goal mouth and not even make an effort. If you've made an effort and you've actually been injured, you've fallen your leg, it's gone in, and you're on one leg, fair enough. I mean, they'll have a look at it anyway, and you're probably not celebrating then. But he's on the ground. Like, come on. Like, we cop worse in Sunday League. He's not there for anything else. Get a grip.
It is an interesting one. You talk about. Go. Give it to Maguire. I knew it was coming. Go for it.
The bloke is not a striker. Can you tell him to stop trying to score? For God's sakes, he had more shots than Ronaldo. And Ronaldo had like 40 shots a game.
He does score for England, though, so...
Yeah, with his head, because it's about 5 times bigger than anyone else in freaking tiny-ass countries.
Maguire, I tried to save you and cut Morty off before he said it, but he got it in there. Listen, he can't defend the goal. We might as let him shoot. Like, he's good at getting the ball in his own net. Maybe he thought if I hit it that way, it might go in their net and I might be able to celebrate. But, yeah, he did have...
got 20 pace, and he's trying to score from, like, the 18-yard box. Yeah, if the keeper's quick enough, like, a good keeper will, it's going straight over the top and they're going to counter. So
all I know is I hope he scores next game and he just looks at the camera and he just does this for you, Morty, because he's not listening to you. He doesn't care what you're saying. But all right, yeah. we're gonna close up because I'm sick of Morty. We get a win and he still finds a way to slag us. Like, I'm sick of it.
Yes.
But we are gonna bring up a quick fire. I'm gonna ask a few questions. Baxter, you did send these questions in. You are on the pod.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the first one. Morty, this is gonna be a yes or no answer. Did Robert Lewandowski get robbed of the Ballon d'Or this year? Yes or no? Quick fire answer, like yes or no. Quick fire. No. Baxter?
Yes.
All right, that's all we're saying. I'm going to say yes. I think he was robbed. We'll move into the second question. Should the Premier League increase its amount of teams, Morty, or should it decrease? So increase or decrease or stay the same? What are you thinking?
Leave it as is. It's the perfect
Baxter?
balance at the moment.
Increase to 22.
Increase to 22. And Baxter, do you remember what your final question was? Because I didn't read into it too much. What was your final question?
I think we touched on it before, but is Spurs a big club? Like, are they a big club or what? Because the fact I'm looking at, the last cup they won was 07-08, the EFL Cup. So
come on, mate. You're forgetting the Audi Cup. They won it like 2 years ago. Come on, mate.
You can't tell me they're a big club when their stadium's designed for a sport that's played in another country.
All right, so
you're not a big club.
I think I know Morty's answer. It's no. I did say no. Baxter, round us up. Is it a three-peat for the nose? Let us know. Is it?
Yeah, it's a no. It's a definite no. They don't even deserve to be in our league.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. We are getting quite long. Like we said, there will be another podcast tomorrow for the round 15 preview. But Baxter, thanks again for joining us. Morty, thank you for not wearing a Liverpool shirt. And we've been the Football Tragics. We'll talk to you soon. See you later.
Peace.